Players coming on court now for the second men's singles semi-final in the Marlborough Australian Open are Ivan Lendl and Tim Mayotte.
And Tim Mayotte leading them out. Lendl, we have seen it plenty on centre court in the tournament. Tim Mayotte making his first appearance for a match anyway, because yesterday he was given permission from the tournament director, Colin Stubbs, to have a hit-up on centre court. That was before the first match actually got underway. He did that with Ricky Meyer, and that was his first look this time in. We have seen him before, Alan, and I originally thought he was a semi-finalist here. That was not so. I remember him making a couple of appearances here, but I couldn't find those results in my book. So he will be very keen to do well here today.
Yes, I think he's been a quarter-finalist, hasn't he, Peter? I remember last year we were tipping him as a possible winner. He'd been out in Australia for a couple of weeks before the tournament started. He'd been working out hard here at Kooyong, doing some training with Stan Nichols at the gym. And to me, he looked a real chance of winning the title last year. He was defeated, I'm just trying to think of the chap that defeated him early in the tournament.
It wasn't the West German,
yes,
was it?
Was
Karatic.
Yeah, one of the chaps from West Germany in a real surprise match. Yeah. But he's had very good results on grass. Semi-finalist at Wimbledon, speaks for itself. And not surprising really to see him through to the semi-finals here. He was in the number 4 seed section of the draw, which was a good section to be in. Elliot Telcher, the number 4 seed, and his best results are not on grass, so if there was to be a section to be in, that was it.
Conditions today much better than last year when Mayotte played Karatic. I remember it was an overcast and drizzly day. Mind you, we have plenty of those, so they're easy to remember. But conditions pretty well ideal today for grass court tennis. There's little or no wind. Even the southwesterly hasn't sprung up today as it has done in the last couple of days. And the sun now quite hazy. As the players commence their hit-up. Court's still in very good condition, despite the fact that it will need to be used for the remaining 2 days.
Tall young man at the northern baseline is a former United States college champion with excellent grass court credentials. He was a finalist in the Bristol Grass Court Championships in England last year and reached the semi-finals at Wimbledon. He returned there this year to win the Manchester Grass Court title, was a quarter-finalist at Wimbledon, and has also had excellent results on previous visits to Australia, having been a quarter-finalist both here and in Adelaide. In the 1983 Marlborough Australian Open Championship, his victories to date have been over Semi Guillermalva, Australia's Mark Edmondson, Sweden's Joachim Nyström, and in the quarterfinals he defeated fellow American Elliot Telcher. He's ranked 29 in the world currently and is the number 15 seed for the tournament. From Springfield, Massachusetts, Tim Mayotte. His opponent has been the Volvo Masters champion for the past 2 years. Also a finalist at the United States Open Championship in '82 and '83. He won 10 World Championship tennis events in 1982 and added the titles at Detroit, Houston and Hilton Head this year. His Grand Prix tournament victories in 1983 include Tokyo, the Transamerica Open, the Canadian Open, and he was also a semi-finalist both at Queen's and at Wimbledon. Here at Kooyong in the first round he defeated Jonathan Smith of Great Britain, America's Peter Fleming, Australia's Pat Cash and his compatriot Thomas Smith in the quarterfinals. He's currently ranked 1 in the world and seeded number 1 for the tournament. From Czechoslovakia, Ivan Lendl. The umpire for the second semi-final match is Mr. Doug Frith.
Minutes, gentlemen. One minute, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this semi-final match is the best of 5 sets, the first 4 tie-break, 5th set advantage. Mayotte won the toss and elected to receive. Time, balls to Lendl's end, please.
Well, Tim Mayotte electing to receive here. He obviously wants one game to feel his way, so to speak. It's his first match on the centre court, so quite good tactics.
Our telecast of the Open going to Canada and the United States through On TV, and we hope viewers there are enjoying the Marlborough Australian Open semi-finals. These players have met 5 times previously. It's a clean slate as far as Lendl is concerned. It stands 5-love. 2 of those victories indoors, 2 on cement. Interestingly, one this year out on grass, and that was at Queen's. Lendl straight set 7-6, 7-6.
Yes, well, there was nothing in that match.
First service.
On previous occasions, the US Open in 1980, and that was in straight sets on cement, of course. Twice in 82. At the WCT Strasbourg, it was Lendl 6-love, 7-5, 6-1. On the line. At the US Open of 82, Lendl won in 5 sets, 6-4 on the 5th. I mentioned that they met at Queen's this year. They also met at Milan. Lendl won in straight, 6-2, 7-6. So Mayotte has got close.
40-15. Game Lendl. Lendl leads 1 game to love.
Well, confident start on service by Lendl. Mayotte electing to receive. I think for obvious enough reasons, as he hasn't played a match out here on the centre court in the tournament to date.
Mayotte to serve. Love.
$15 love on Tim Mayotte's service. In view of Lendl's record against Mayotte, he must now stand a very good chance of taking out his first Grand Slam singles title.
15 all.
The nemesis of Connors and McEnroe aren't there now. Although you're looking through his record with Verlander, Alan, it's an interesting one.
Yes, 3 apiece. Piece of paper just blowing down behind Mayotte. I think an important factor in this match could be Van Lendl's health. Has been under a cloud, and he didn't practice yesterday.
Not at all?
Not at all. Didn't hit a ball out here at Kooyong anyway, and if it's a long match, he could be under a bit of a cloud.
30 all.
We, of course, saw him on centre court against Pat Cash at an earlier round, and I think he left the court twice from memory. Well, 2 doubles in this game from Tim Mayotte, so he's a little bit underdone confidence-wise. First of all, electing to receive.
Deuce.
And still just can't find the range on that first serve.
Advantage Lendl.
Well, that's the shot to look for in Van Lendl's game, that forehand. Very aggressive shot. And it gives him his second break point.
Just missed it.
Deuce.
So Lendl unable to get back the second serves of Mayotte.
Advantage Mayotte.
A lot of swing on that second serve from Mayotte. That's a good tactic if you're playing someone with a big forehand and they're used to moving around to run around their backhand. If you serve them wide anyway to the forehand, that's not their best shot.
First service.
3 doubles in the game.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of margin for error on his second serve, Tim Mayotte.
Hits it pretty flat, doesn't it?
Pretty hard.
Advantage Mayotte.
Finally got one in. And was very quick in for the volley.
Deuce.
Well, this is an important game for Mayotte because you must get off to a good start when you're playing one of the top seeds, or in this case it is the top seed.
I dare say he'll be hoping for easier service games the longer the match goes.
Advantage Mayotte.
And to get a chance for Mayotte to take the game. Both players having a few chances in this first service game of Tim Mayotte's.
Deuce.
4 doubles in the game.
Well, no doubt just a little tense at this stage. Semi-finals of a Grand Slam event is very important.
Oh, gee, that was close.
Yes, long, I think, brought a little chalk, but down the line. Applause for a spectator who caught that mishit.
Advantage Mayotte.
And he's finally held serve.
Game Mayotte. 1 game all.
I think he'll be much relieved about that. 4 double faults in your opening service game is enough to really knock your confidence down.
Well, particularly if you end up losing it.
Quiet, please.
In Tim's case, he was pretty fortunate to hang on there. 1-1.
Love 15. Love 30.
So Lendl, after not being able to take advantage of the opportunity that was presented to him in the previous game, now finds himself in a bit of difficulty. Love 30.
15-30.
Well, he came up with the good one when he needed it.
30-40.
So now Tim Mayotte has his chance.
Deuce.
A good pick up on the low volley there from Lendl. He really had to stretch wide.
Advantage Lendl. Deuce.
Lendl about to change ends. He thought that was good.
Yes, missed by about half a metre. I think it was considerably long. So 2 lengthy games of the first 3 played in the opening set.
Advantage Lendl.
Well, a well-controlled high forehand volley there from Lendl. Very difficult to get power on that shot, but he went for placement.
Deuce.
We haven't seen any long rallies in the match to date, and I don't think we will. And some fine shot making now by Mayotte. Oh, speaking of fine shots.
Advantage Lendl.
I don't think Lendl could have reached that unless he did actually dive full length. He took the risk, knowing that if he made the shot it wouldn't matter. His opponent wouldn't, no chance of covering the ground.
Game Lendl. Lendl leads 2 games to 1.
Well, stumble there by Ivan Lendl on that game point. Doesn't seem to have caused him any undue concern. The shot of the match to date, in fact almost the shot of the day, was that beautiful lunge volley to hit the winner. And so both players saving break points in the last 2 games. Mayotte, 4 double faults in his opening service game. Saved a couple of break points to ultimately hold his opening serve, and then Lendl, helped along by that superb shot.
Time.
And after being down 30-40, he too managed to hold
Please.
serve.
Please be seated.
So it's Mayotte to serve. Down 1-2 opening set.
15 love.
And Tim finally getting the first serve in.
Lendl missing with the forehand passing shot on the first point, but just bending his knees a little more there and making certain of that one.
Match has been in progress nearly 20 minutes and only 3 games have been completed.
bit lucky. Lendl grins. So does Tim Mayotte. Getting right off the top of the frame there.
Well, Mayotte, you can see a very low percentage of first serves in. He's improved upon that a little in this game because he's got 2 out of 4 in so far. Well, for a player who would boast his service as his main weapon, or one of them, Alan, he hasn't strung them together at all well, has he?
No. No, it's eventually going to cost him his serve. And that will be it.
Lendl leads 3 games to 1.
Yes, once you get to the semi-final stage, you're very lucky to hold serve if you give away a couple of free points with double faults. He did that in his first service game and escaped. Couldn't do it there. So Lendl with the first break of serve in this semi-final. He's leading 3-1.
Love 15. First service. All.
Well, passing shots off the backhand and then forehand from Tim Mayotte. Lendl not happy with his footing there, looking down at the court.
He's already gone for a rather heavy tumble in this set. And notice Lendl repeatedly too taps the soles of his shoes to knock out the grass clippings every few points.
Needing a first service here.
Oh, great lunge volley. So again, Mayotte not able to take advantage of the break point. He had a break point in the 3rd game of the set. Lendl managed to hold serve.
Advantage Lendl.
What an outstanding
And
forehand for the
Lendl.
game for Lendl. Tremendous
Lendl
power.
leads 4 games to 1.
Well, Tim Mayotte has been given a few opportunities in this set. I suppose we could argue that he was lucky to hold serve in the second game when he served first and had 4 double faults. But in the next game, Lendl was down 30-40. Mayotte just couldn't get the break back. Lendl then managed to get the break in the fourth game. Found himself again down 30-40 in the fifth. And once more, Tim Mayotte was not able to take advantage of the opportunity.
Quiet, please.
Capacity crowd here at Kooyong in the Australian Open, enjoying lovely weather for a change.
Thank you.
And some pretty good tennis. Mayotte down 1-4.
15 love.
He got a lot of bounce out of that first service. Lendl's in a very jovial mood in this
He
match.
is. Maybe he's feeling better, Alan.
Yes.
Love 1-4.
30 love.
Well, perhaps Lendl can cinch victory not only in the semi-final today, but in his first Grand Slam tournament. I guess he'd be cheered up a little bit by the fact that John got beaten.
Well, Lendl with all the time in the world there to decide whether to go cross-court or down the line with that backhand.
Well, by my calculations, that's 7 double faults for Tim Mayotte. And this is only the first set. And you can't keep giving Ivan Lendl 3 points. Mayotte just slowing down the first service there, putting a bit more spin on it, making sure he got it in. Very shaky with the second serve. He didn't want to have to rely on that on break point again.
Advantage Lendl.
And he's practicing the ball toss.
Game Lendl.
Gives Lendl the break again.
Lendl leads 5 games to 1.
It's turning out to be a very comfortable set now for the #1 seed. He has been down a bit on his own serve, but just too many doubles.
Alan, if you're having a nightmare day on service like that, what was your ploy?
Well, it was to really just slow down the first one and try to get a few more first ones in.
15 love.
Thereby taking the pressure off your second serve. If you're serving a few double faults, the worst thing you want to be doing is having to hit more second serves. So usually try to slow the first one down and get more of them in. And then once you've succeeded in doing that, you can then start to increase the speed again on the first serve.
Oh,
15 all.
I think that volley over the head from Lendl indicates how confident he is. And that error from Mayotte brings up 2 set points to Van Lendl. He wins it with an ace.
In the first set, Lendl, 6 games to 1.
And that first set taking exactly 30 minutes. The first few games averaged 7 minutes apiece. But once Lendl really got in the groove, that was the end of the penny section. As far as Tim Mayotte was concerned, he'd probably rather think that he lost the set rather than Lendl winning it. Well, the bottom line for Tim Mayotte is to see if he can increase that percentage of first serves.
Please be seated.
Again, practicing his ball toss. See if he can get a little bit more rhythm in it. First game, second set, Mayotte to serve.
Love 15.
And if Lendl was feeling jovial in the early stages of the first set, after he won it 6-1, I guess he'd feel even better. Inside.
Well, tremendous power this time off the backhand from Lendl.
What a great shot. Well, that'd knock the wind out of your sails a bit too, wouldn't it? He's been struggling to get the first serve in, and finally does, and it comes back a winner.
Advantage Mayotte.
Tim Mayotte's first ace.
Hughes.
And Mayotte really needing a big serve now. Must get off to a better start in this set.
Advantage Mayotte.
Well, Lendl shaking his head. I think he had a feeling that might have been a fault, but looked okay. Very deep, certainly.
Hughes.
As you can see, not at all confident on his serve when he stays back. I couldn't see him being able to match it with Lendl from the baseline.
Advantage Mayotte.
He's held serve.
Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 1 game to love.
Well, it's the first time in the match that Tim Mayotte has held serve without actually being down a break point. When he served initially in the first set, had to save a couple of break points into mixing 4 double faults, and then of course dropped his remaining 2 serves in the opening set to go under 6 games to 1. What's that?
Time. Quiet, please.
Love 1, second set.
15 love. Love.
Lendl serving for the first time in the second set.
Love.
And by and large winning his service games much more easily than his taller opponent.
1 game all.
Well, very quickly it's Tim Mayotte's turn to serve again.
Balls,
And
please.
usually you find that's the way. If you're struggling to hold your serve, having long games, your opponent seems to always be winning his quickly, and before you know it, you're back serving again. So you always seem to be under pressure. Still, he'll be serving with new balls this game.
And Tim Mayotte's been in the firing line pretty well from the start of the match.
This shows the new balls, 1-all. He really has got a good serve. If he can get a little bit of confidence going on it, I think we could see a much closer contest. See the power in that one.
Yes, hasn't got too many like that over the net though. Tim has played a couple of grass court tournaments this year with fair success. Oh.
30-15.
We mentioned he was defeated by Lendl at Queen's to tiebreak sets, 7-6, 7-6. Mayotte's percentage of first serves improving. It was down in the 20s earlier in the match. And of course, Tim also reaching the quarters at Wimbledon.
14-15.
His best result though this year was winning the tournament at Manchester. Got some serves in, made a difference.
2 games to 1.
Well, Tim Mayotte finally getting a few first balls into play, and it did make a difference. That was far and above his easiest service game of the match.
Time. 5, please. Not 15.
Lendl opening this fourth game with a double fault.
Not 30.
That last game of Tim Mayotte's on service was the first time in the match that he hasn't been taken to deuce or been down a break point or two on his own serve.
15-30.
Well, Lendl making full use of his good reach there.
Lendl slipped over before, but I think that's the first time that Tim's hit the deck.
Use.
Two doubles by Lendl in this game.
Advantage Lendl. Use.
And that's one of the best returns that Tim's made in the match.
Yeah, so that's his better side on the ground strokes, the backhand.
Advantage Mayotte.
Well, it's a better looking Tim Mayotte so far in this set, and he has a break point now. The first of this set. Oh, just missed it.
Advantage Lendl.
Well, he struck that forehand return quite firmly, but Lendl was in the right position for the volley, just angled it away. Again, just a little bit of friendly chit-chat. Certainly played in a very fine spirit this match.
Game Lendl. 2 games all.
So Lendl holds serve there after being down a break point. And signs that Tim Mayotte's getting his service under control. 2 all.
Love 15.
Well, staying back on the second service though, he's still worried about that ground stroking power of the Czech.
All.
And that one bouncing higher than Lendl had anticipated.
All.
Well, that second service too short. Lendl was able to come up with a very forcing return and set up the passing shot for him. You see here, moves forward, all stemming from that strong return. Break point for Lendl.
His first of this set. Yes, got the first serve in that time when he needed it.
Advantage Mayotte.
Tim, of course, was formerly coached by Australian Bobby Brett. has now joined the Volatieri stable. It's interesting because he is known for his baseline coaching, such as Jimmy Arias, Carling Bassett.
Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 3 games to 2.
Well, Tim Mayotte fighting off the break point there. Both players having chances to affect the service break in the last 2 games. And game still going with service in this second set. Tim looking a little bit more comfortable. But I still think he'd like to increase the percentage of his first serves even more.
Mr. John Jay, would you report to the tournament office opposite the clubhouse, please? Mr. John Jay.
Time. Quiet, please. Thank you.
So it's Lendl to serve, 2-3.
Not 15. All.
Tim first came under notice, of course, gee, it was 3 years ago now, back in 1980, when he upset Jimmy Connors in the Transamerica Open in San Francisco.
15-30.
Still can't find the range with that lob, though.
I think he'd probably been better off going for a passing shot there. That's his game, the power game. Came up with a good return there at 15-30 and had the opportunity. Speaking of power, and Lendl was really under pressure there because that was a 30-all point, and if he misses this backhand, he's down break point. Very confidently down the line.
Yes.
Well, that time Lendl was on the other end of a down the line backhand. As I said, that's Mayotte's best shot.
He must be feeling better.
I don't know, it's like a bit of social tennis Saturday afternoon at the club.
Advantage Lendl.
Well, as I said before, Alan, I think John McEnroe being beaten would have cheered him up no end.
Deuce.
So 3 deuce games in a row in the second set. After the first, and the 2 previous to that went rather quickly.
good footwork there by Tim Mayotte. Watch how quickly he moves into position here to take that on the forehand. Break point. And this is a chance for him on a second service.
Oh, gee, that was close.
Well, I think it hit right on the line. I think saw a little bit of chalk and the ball propped. That's what caused Mayotte to mistime the ball. So Ivan Lendl just a little fortunate there.
Advantage Lendl.
We saw Tim's brother Chris out here last year in Australia. He reached the quarters of the Melbourne Indoor Tournament. 8 brothers in the family, but Tim on the tennis circuit the most prominent.
Game Lendl. 3 games all.
Well, Lendl for the second service game in succession, saving a break point.
Yes, Mayotte certainly having his chances. He's had break opportunities on 4 of Lendl's services. Just a little inconsistent at the moment, but certainly picking up his service in this second set.
Love. Love.
Ooh.
40 love.
Well left, as it turned out. Didn't miss by much. And Mayotte now in line for his first love service game of the match, which he gets.
Mayotte leads 4 games to 3.
So 7 games played in the second set, all going with service. Mayotte again having chances on Lendl's service in a couple of games. Likewise, Lendl having a point for a break in the 5th game. And this big crowd appreciating some superb tennis in the second semi-final.
Time.
Lendl as usual, first back onto the court.
Please be seated.
No else. 3-4, second set. Lendl serving.
15 love.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
30 love. Love.
Well, powerful display in this game from
Yes.
Lendl.
first service.
He's really working up some power on that first ball.
Yes, he varies at that last couple with the flat ones, but most of the time he hits a very hard top spinner, like that one.
Game Lendl.
Second ace for the game.
And he's able to get a lot of bounce out of his serve. Difficult to control, and then every now and then he really flattens it out and hits it with tremendous speed.
Mayotte's last service game was his best of the match also. Let's see what he can come up with here. 4-all, second set. Lendl the first, 6-1.
15 love.
The Australian Open going to Canada and the United States. And we hope viewers through on TV in America enjoying the telecast with us.
30 love. Thirty 15. Forty 15. Forty 30. Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 5 games to 4.
Well, a complete miss-hit by Van Lendl on that final point. Almost sounded as though he'd broken a string. That wasn't the case, though. And still games go with service in this second set. Very shaky opening by Tim Mayotte. He seems to have his service by and large under control now. Certainly serving a lot better than he was in the opening stanza of the match. Very low percentage of first balls in. I think at one stage it was down to about 20. And for him, that is indeed bad news.
Time. Quiet, please.
Four 5, Lendl.
15 love.
Two good serves by Lendl at the business end of the second set.
Love. games Lendl, 5 games all.
Well, 2 very impressive service games from Van Lendl. 2 love games.
Only 2 points have gone against service in the last 4 games, Alan.
5 all.
Love.
Well, both players are really going for their returns.
All.
Mayotte hasn't served too many doubles in this second set. It's now at a vital stage. He can ill afford that. We've seen in the past that once he does do a double, he seems to have a batch of them, so let's hope that isn't the case.
4 in 1 game takes a bit of beating, doesn't it?
Game Mayotte. Mayotte leads 6 games to 5.
Well, Lendl going back to his chair with a big grin on his face. Seems more relaxed in this match than at any other stage during the tournament. It's either a great improvement in his health, or the fact that he won the first set 6-1, or a combination of the two. I don't know what, but Lendl very jovial out there today. And as we mentioned, McEnroe got beaten. So that will certainly help. Even though his record, should he win today, against Verlander is 3-all, he must feel confident perhaps of winning now his first Grand Slam tournament. 6 games to 5 in the second set, with Mayotte in the lead, but Lendl's last 2 service games have indeed been very, very solid. Hasn't conceded a point. The happy hour on the garden enclosure is about to start, it would appear.
Love.
And Lendl getting plenty of bounce on that second service. Love, 5-6.
Love.
Neither player wasting much time at the changeovers, Peter. They're very rarely waiting till the umpire calling time.
Yes. Well, Lendl especially is.
He's round in about 30 seconds.
Love.
Well, Lendl within 1 point of making it 3 successive love games on his own service.
Which he does with the ace.
Games are 6-all, the tie break. Mayotte to serve.
Well, I guess those stats would lead toward Van Lendl in the tie break. although that second set neither player dropping serve.
No, they had chances. Only 3 break points in the set. Mayotte had 2, Lendl 1.
One, zero, Mayotte. One all.
Well, excellent volley there from Lendl. Had to stretch high and wide and then hit down the line. Wasn't much room there. Could have easily missed that. Very good shot.
Lendl.
Well, Lendl staying back, but really hitting a powerful forehand. Great depth on that shot, forcing Mayotte into error.
Lendl.
Well, a couple of mishits in that rally. Lendl coming up with the point. The first against serve in the tiebreak.
Oh,
4-1 Lendl.
no luck at all for Tim there.
No, he did well to pick it up, but it was really an excellent return from Ivan Lendl.
Lendl.
So Lendl well in command now this tiebreak as the players change ends. And the good backhand volley there, and this season we've seen certainly improved net play from Ivan Lendl, starting off at Wimbledon when he got through to the semi-finals there, and then continuing here.
So set points are plenty for the tournament's #1 seed.
Game. Second set, Lendl, 7 games to 6. New balls, please. Lendl leads 2 sets to love.
Yeah.
2 sets to love now for Ivan Lendl. Very good tie break there from him to win at 7 points to 1. And he'll be serving in the opening game this 3rd set. Much better set from Tim Mayotte there. Didn't drop serve.
Love. Love.
Well, Ivan just rushing that shot, anxious to get it into the open backhand corner before Mayotte could arrive there.
Second set took 45 minutes, the first 30. And Lendl off to a good start in the 3rd. Ivan Lendl with a vice-like grip on this match now. It would indeed be, or need, a great form reversal to see him drop it. He's been solid from the word go today, the tournament's #1 seed. He's been taken to 4 sets a couple of times in the tournament by Peter Fleming. That was about the closest any of them got. And then, of course, he defeated his compatriot Thomas Smid, also in 4, after dropping the 2nd set of that match. 2 sets to 1. Ivan Lendl leading 6-1, 7-6. Tie-break score in the 2nd, 7 points to 1. And he's held his opening serve here, losing only the 1 point in the tie-break and 1 point on his last 4 service games. But Mayotte to serve. Love 1.
Love.
Well, that ball was just too low for Lendl to really hit that hard. Tried to really whip the ball, but couldn't get underneath it and over it.
Love. Mayotte. 1 game all.
Oh, another comfortable service game, ultimately to Tim Mayotte, who hasn't dropped serve since the 6th game of the first set. Losing the second set, of course, in the tiebreak. Convincingly so, nevertheless.
Love. Love.
Tim Mayotte seems powerless at the moment to stop this Lendl onslaught on service. Yeah, that'll give him a lift. And another.
34.
Yes.
40-30.
Lendl looking a little anxiously there at the linesman. Just dropped inside the line.
Game Lendl. Lendl leads 2 games to 1. Quiet, please.
There's the score, and Tim Mayotte serving in the 4th game, this 3rd set.
Please be seated. Love.
Well, that brings a smile to Tim Mayotte's face. He hasn't had too much to smile about of late, even though playing a lot better now than in the earlier stages of the match. Very shaky on serve in the first set.
Love. Love.
Midcourt helping Lendl.
Game Mayotte, 2 games all.
And again, another solid game from Tim Mayotte. He's only lost 4 points on his service in the last 5 service games. That's not counting the tie-break, which was won by Lendl 7-1 convincingly.
15 love.
But likewise, Alan, he's finding points hard to win at Lendl service.
Yes, this is just the sort of match that Lendl likes, though, a out-and-out power duel. May be better advice just trying to chip and maybe lob a few. Lendl just loving this power.
Love.
And click go all the cameras at courtside.
Love. Game Lendl.
Love game to Lendl.
Lendl leads 3 games to 2.
Game's going convincingly with the server in this third set. 5 games played, only 4 points, 1 off serve. Mayotte finding it very difficult to trade the blows and get the returns back into play off Lendl's serve. Still a very good crowd here at Kooyong to watch the tennis. That looks like a love game as well. Must be the weather, I think. Everybody's been cooped up inside of late. And now it's time for the ladies to display their spring finery. Oh, it's summer now, isn't it, Alan? I've forgotten. I think I could be excused for thinking summer was still some way off.
Please be seated.
Mayotte's turn to call the shots, down 2-3.
On the line.
15.
Let's look at that again. We're right on that line. It was very close. Yes, I agree with you, Alan. Right on the line. Match played in very good spirit. Tim, of course, has been dubbed by the British press as Gentleman Tim.
15 all.
This is where Gentleman Tim has got to be a bit careful because he's down 2 sets to love and 3-2, and he loose shots here and he'll just about be out of the match.
Well, 30-15. 30 all.
Speaking of loose shots.
Yes.
And he knows it.
So does Lendl. Good serve, very quickly in for the backhand put away volley. Could certainly do with a few more of those.
Game, Mayotte. 3 games all.
No break points in this third set. In fact, we haven't even had a deuce game. Serving of both players exceptionally good at the moment. Returns hard to get back into play.
Right, please.
See how Mayotte fares.
Love.
Well, Mayotte moving well inside the baseline to chip that return.
Well, that was a tactic you said he could use a couple of games back.
Yes,
Alan.
I think he should just try to get a few more balls back into play. Try and put a little pressure on the Lendl volleys, rather than going for too many winners himself. That would have been an opportunity for a lob, I think, there. On the run, it was always going to be a very difficult passing shot.
Game, Lendl. Lendl leads 4 games to 3.
Well, at the risk of being monotonous, dare we say another solid service game from Lendl. He really is putting the shoulder right behind them now, and returns difficult to make. We saw Mayotte make one effective return for a winner down the line. Nice little chip. And for the remainder of the game, Lendl too powerful, too solid, and served it out with an ace.
Time. Quiet, please. Please be seated.
Mayotte down 3-4.
Lendl very rarely misses when he sets the point up and has got the opportunity to put it away, tick it off that forehand side.
Lendl forever doing something when he awaits the serve. He's not tapping his foot, he's rubbing his shoulder or his brow or adjusting the racket strings.
Ball. 15-30.
Well, here's a dangerous situation for Mayotte.
Yes, 3-4, 15-30 and 2 sets to love down. And the first break points of the third set going to Lendl.
Lendl.
Gives him the break.
Lendl leads 5 games to 3.
Well, that was exactly what we were talking about a couple of games earlier. Tim Mayotte needing to remain solid.
Quiet, please.
The double fault and volleying errors there, and Lendl serving for the match. So a very powerful display in this match from the number 1 seed, Ivan Lendl.
First service. Love. Love.
Three match points to Ivan Lendl. That's out. That's the match. Ivan Lendl through to the final of the Marlborough Australian Open. 6-1, 7-6, 6-3 over Tim Mayotte.
Thank you.
Game, third set and match Lendl. 3 sets to love. 6-1, 7-6, 6-3. Thank you, linesmen. Thank you, ball boys.
Would the owner of the following vehicle, a Kingswood AFO 685, please remove it immediately from its present location? That is a Kingswood AFO 685.
Well, the shake of the hands and the scoreline showing Ivan Lendl just too powerful in that semi-final for Tim Mayotte. 6-1, 7-6, 6-3. A power-packed display from the #1 seed.
Well, the #1 seed, Mr. Lendl, is going to talk with Peter Landy.
I'm looking at the happiest Ivan Lendl's been all week, is that right?
Well, finally it's sunny, so it's good reason to be happy. I hope everybody is happy today.
Well, you're especially happy, aren't you?
Yeah.
In your earlier matches, though, you haven't been feeling well. You've had a lot of problems. Obviously, they're a lot better now.
Yeah, I feel much better, and it's much more pleasant to play when it's nice and warm and more people here, and I have no pains, and, you know, it's much nicer.
You didn't practice at all yesterday, I understand. Is that right?
No, I did. I played at Q Country Club.
Oh, golf?
Yeah.
Not tennis?
No. You have to get your preferences straight.
When you looked at the draw and you came up against Tim, who has a pretty fair record on grass, and I was noticing the score at Queen's earlier in the year, you beat him in straight sets, 7-6, 7-6. I guess you expected a fairly tough contest.
When Tim is serving well, he always gives me a lot of trouble, and I was fortunate enough, and he was unlucky that he wasn't serving as well today as he usually does, and I took early advantage of it in the first set, and then I was lucky enough to pull off the second set tiebreaker, and from then on, you know, it's very difficult to come back from 2 sets to love down.
You haven't won a Grand Slam singles tournament yet. Were you perhaps a trifle pleased when John was beaten? I was looking at your record against Mats, it's 3-3. Did that make you happier? Still hard to win, I guess.
It's very difficult to win, especially with the way he's playing from the baseline, and you know, he doesn't give you any free points, and if you want a point, you better hit a very, very good shot.
Glad to see you in great form today, and good luck in the final.
Thanks, Ivan.
Well played. Ivan Lendl, through to the final of the Marlborough Australian Open, and we'll be back with some doubles in just a moment.